So how's it going, ladies and gents, and welcome back to the channel. Today, guys, we're doing a Master Duel deck profile, and today we are gonna talk about, no, not sprites, we are gonna talk about the punks and the new punk supports that came along the Sprite of Miracle selection packs. Now, this is the deck profile for you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Keep safe, good luck, and have a good day. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. That was really a sad joke. To capitalize first on the Punk engine or the Punk archetype, we are going towards the main deck, which revolves around 3 copies of Maxi and 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Now, the hand shops are really important, especially for Maxi, since this is not by far semi-limited or limited in Master Duel, so we need to capitalize on this, allowing us to bring forth a ton of cards from our deck to our hand. Second of all, we have also Called by the Grave and Imperm as one of our disruptions for our opponent, since we are going up against a new archetype, which are the sprites. Then we move towards the 2 copies of Wielder and the 1 copy of Tracker. Now, these cards special summons itself to the field if you have a level 3 monster. The Wielder allows you to pop 1 card to the field. The Tracker allows the Synchro monster to gain 600 attack to its attack. For the Punk monsters, we have 3 copies of Sharkusa and 3 copies of Wagon. Now this card is really relevant for this deck. Allows you to bring out Rising Carp, which of course can be attributed to bring out a Deer Note or even any level 3 monster that you really need. Other than that, Wagon allows you to bring forth your field spell. Now, you might be wondering, why would I have this than just having or just getting a copy of Terraforming? Well, basically, Terraforming will exceed 40 cards, and I don't want that to exceed 40 cards, because 40 cards is really a good spot or a good ratio for this type of deck. So having 3 copies of Wagon is easy enough to bring forth your field spell, and of course, it's an extra Punk monster that you can have for your engine. You have 2 copies of Madame Spider, since we're only using the Dangerous Gabu as our only trap card. Nevertheless, it is a really good trap card, but we're just using 1 because 2 or more you'll tend to break. 3 copies of Xiamin, bring forth your other Punk monsters to your hand. Your Deer Note, your Foxy Tune, and even your Ogre Dance. Ogre Dance are really good cards. Spell summon any level 3 that you need. Deer Note, drop 1 Punk monster from your hand to the graveyard. Special summon itself. If it's in the graveyard, then you can spell summon 1 level 3. It's a really good card, by the way. Ogre Dance, it has the same first effect as Foxy Tune, but having to search for a level 3 is one of its best effects by far. Your spell and traps revolve around your 2 back row removals, which is the Harpy's Feather Duster and the Lightning Storm. You can use it for front row removal, but I just prefer it for the back row. 2 copies of your field spell, and by far, just to having 2 copies of this is really good. This card is really broken for the Punk archetype. Having you to draw 2 cards in just 1 turn is really an OP effect. On top of that, you can spell summon 1 Punk monster on your hand to your side of the field. 2 emergency teleports, 2 Called by the Graves, 3 Imperms, and basically your Dangerous Gabu. That is your main deck composition, guys. For your extra deck, you need 2 copies of Rising Carp. Rising Carp is a really good searcher, and spell summon level 5 Deer Note and any level 3 that you need. By far, it is one of the best cards there yet. And of course, your Synchro monsters can attack twice, if I'm not mistaken. Can make a second attack during the battle phase that turn. If ever you'll use this onto a Psychic End Punisher or even our Amazing Dragon, you can end the game there. We have Stardust Charge Warrior for draw 1 card. Your Boar Load Savage Dragon and is basically just a scenario card alongside Draco, the Berserker of the Tenyi. And then we have Chaos Ruler, a really good card. Your only search, or the only target for your search right there, or your excavate, is the Foxy Tune and the Ogre Dance, since they are the only light and dark monsters in your deck. Most of the time, you actually draw into this or you excavate into this, so having a copy of Ogre Dance or Foxy Tune gets you a long way. Then we have 2 copies of Punk Jam Dragon. Now, this monster once sent to the graveyard. If ever your opponent activates a card onto a Punk card activation, then you can spell summon this monster from the graveyard. Then you have your Navy Dragon Mech, one of the situational cards that you need. And then we talk about your level 11 Synchro monsters. First and foremost, 2 copies of Amazing Dragon, a really good card just to bounce cards from your opponent's field to their hand. Second effect, it basically is a monster reborn. And then your coup de grace for the game ender, your Psychic End Punisher. Not only that, this card is unaffected if ever you are of the lowest life points than your opponent. This can also gain the same amount of attack from the difference of your life points and your opponent. Also, it can banish 1 card on the field. That's really good. And then that's basically your Link monsters there. I already talked about that. Now, let's move towards the replays, and I'll showcase you guys how OP and broken the Psychic End Punisher and the field spell is. Let's go. So here we are, guys, with the game replays, and we have 4 replays for you guys today. We should have gone with the 5th replay, but it's just one guy just scooping into a maxi, so we won't include that one. So we're gonna tackle the Amazing Dragon Bounce, the Field Spell OP, and Psychic and Punisher effect. So to start off, on our starting hand, we got 1 maxi, 1 Ash Blossom, 1 Tracker, 1 Wagon, and 1 Deer Note. So our opponent is using a Live Twin Sprite deck, starting off with Secret Password, getting a copy of Home. And in my mind, since he has Sunny Snitch or activated Sunny Snitch, we negate that one just to prompt an effect for a Cold Bay Grave. But he will use Live Twin Home, stating he doesn't have a Cold Bay Grave. So we go for Maxi on the Live Twin Home. And that's basically it. We draw into cards. Drawing into a Madame Spider, and secondly, he will use the effect of Lila. And then we got a copy of Cold Bay Grave. Set 1 back row and end his turn there. On our turn, we drew into a Foxy Tune, which is really good. Use the effect of Foxy Tune, spell summon our Sharakusai, normal summoning a Wagon, bring forth a Field Spell. Field Spell is going to be activated, and then use a Field Spell effect. Banish our Foxy Tune from the grave, spell summoning our Deer Note. Use the effect of Sharakusai to fuse, but we got Imperm. Regardless, this is not the end of our combo, guys. So with that, since we have 1 tuner and 1 non-tuner, we will synchro summon. Oh, by the way, since Sharakusai paid life points, still we use the effect of the Field Spell. Jam Dragon Drive is going to be activated. Chain with Deer Note, spell summoning a copy of Xiamin. I think Xiamin, right? No, Madame Spider. Madame Spider to the field, and then the Jam Dragon Drive get a copy of Wielder. And then since we use the effect of a Psychic Monster, pay life points, we draw into another one. There we go. And then we'll sync off to our level 11 Amazing Dragon. So since we have a ton of level 3 Psychic Monsters in the grave, we can bounce more than 3. Since he has only 3, and that's basically it. So at this point on, we can go for the end game. There we go. Psychic and Punisher to the field. And we'll do battle. So we gain a ton of life attack during our battle phase and end our turn there. Okay, guys, game number 2, and we got Maxi, 1 Sharakusai, 1 Wagon, 1 Deer Note, and 1 E-Telly. So our opponent's going first. So our opponent is using Sprite with a variant of Deep Sea Diva. So we go for Maxi, and then he will summon, I think, the Orochi monster. Spell summoning the blue, and then getting a copy of the red. Okay, so he has the Jet on hand. Spell summoning the Jet. He will get the Smasher. I don't want him to search for the Smasher, so we use Ash Blossom on that. Now, some people might say that was a bad chain, but yeah, we can still manage. We have Lightning Storm anyway. And then he will special summon red. He will then sync off into Baron the Floor, so Baron the Floor has a piercing effect now, which is not a problem. And then he will link off finally for IP Masquerena. So at this point on my turn, I should have gone with Lightning Storm, but I want to exhaust all my resources, so I will go for Infinite Impermanent first. Imperm the Baron, he will chain with that. I will use the effect of E-Telly. And I think here he's gonna use it for because on my mind he's either gonna use Nightmare Unicorn, or he's gonna do that. Goddess of the Closed World. Summon to the field. There we go. Summon to the field, Goddess of the Closed World. So not only this card is unaffected other than targeted effects, this card is indestructible. So use Ogre Dance, bring forth a copy of level 3's Punk Monster. He will chain with Effect Wheeler. I don't know why he did that, but yeah, it was useless. Use the effect of Deer Note, spell summoning the Deer Note to the field, normal summoning Sharakusai, and then we fuse into the Rising Carp. Now, Rising Carp at this point on will tribute itself. Special summoning a Wagon and a Madame Spider. Wagon will get the field spell, and then we'll use the field spell and then use the effect of Madame Spider to draw more cards. Field spell activate, draw 1 card, get Foxy Tune, and that's how OP the field spell is, guys. Link off to Mrs. Radiant. I really wanted to go for a Boral Load Savage Dragon, but yeah, let's not gonna do that. And we'll just do Nightmare Unicorn. Bounce back the Goddess, and then we move towards ending our turn. Jam Dragon Drive to the field, use its effect, get a copy of a level 3 psychic monster, and then Dear Note will spell summon Xiamin. There we go. Xiamin to the field, Jam Drive will get a wielder copy. And then since we use life points, we go for a session. And then use the effect of session once more to spell summon Foxy Tune. And then we move towards a level 11 Synchro. Psychic and Punisher, come to the field. There we go, and that's more than lethal again. So last two replays, guys, and I'll showcase you guys how OP the Amazing Dragon is. So how to set up the board if you're going first. So we got a starting hand of one tracker, one wielder, one Madame Spider, one Xiamin, and one Lightning Storm. So to start, we go for Xiamin, get a copy of our Foxy Tune, but we got ashed, so that was really bad. So my only go-to card here was actually summoning the Charge Warrior and hoping we could top deck a Foxy Tune, which we got it. So Foxy Tune will special summon the Shirakusai. Shirakusai will then fuse for a Rising Carp, and then Rising Carp will then tribute itself to special summon our Dear Note and one Wagon. Now, this is always the basic stuff. As long as you got the field spell ready, you are always gonna get the upper hand. So there we go. Jam Drive is gonna be activated, paying life points, and then that will activate the effect of the session. Dear Note can spell summon once more the Shirakusai, and then Dragon will get the wielder. And then since we use the effect once more, we can draw to one more card, which is Infinite Impermanence, and then sync off our monsters for Amazing Dragon. We'll summon our Rising Carp and setting our Imperm right there. So at this point, this is one basic setup that you would understand in a basic Punk deck. We're going up against a Sprite deck, so he's gonna summon the Nimble monster. So in my mind, I think we need more monsters on the field that we can bounce. But he is actually using Tri-Brigade Sprite, which is a really formidable deck if he goes his combo, or if he does his combo right. So I don't want him to do that. And one thing this type of deck capitalizes on is monsters on the field and the graveyard. So once he used the effect of Kuras, we used the effect of Shirakusai to sync off into Amazing Dragon, bouncing more than 3 monsters. Well, at this point on, just 3 monsters on the field. And then chain blocking it with the field spell. That's basically it. Negate the field spell. Nevertheless, it was fine. Just bouncing it off and ending his turn there. Okay guys, for last game, we are going up against a Dark Magician deck, and we got a starting hand of one Wagon, one Xiamin, one Foxy Tune, and one Ogre Dance alongside a Call by the Grave. So, let's start. Go for Wagon first. Get a copy of our field spell. Always a field spell. You can go with a continuous spell that we have for the punks, but yeah, I think this is much better. The field spell is much better. So Foxy Tune is gonna be activated. Or yeah, did we go for Foxy Tune, right? No, we go for Ogre Dance. Alright, never mind. Anyway, so we go for that. Rising Carp to the field, the same combo basically. And then if ever you have Wagon on the field already, you go for Madame Spider as one of your tributes from the Rising Carp. There we go. Jam Dragon Drive on the field, and then chain 1, chain 2. We target our Shirakusai because we're gonna use this one during our opponent's turn anyways, and get a copy of our tracker. And then we go for Amazing Dragon. Now, if your opponent is gonna prompt a Nibiru, you can go for level 11 Psychic End Punisher. The Psychic End Punisher is really OP, man. 3-5 attack, 3-5 defense. Any activated effects, as long as your life points is lower than your opponent, it is unaffected. Really an OP card. So after all that, we can set our Call by the Grave and our Dangerous Gabu, and that is our board right there, guys. So like I said earlier, even if he breaks the board, but I think he can't. So nevertheless, our opponent's going first with Terraforming. Ash Blossom that, because maybe if we're going up against Numeron, that would be a bad thing. But we are going up against the Dark Magician deck, so yeah. Normal summoning Rod, and using the effect of Gabu to negate the effect of Rod. There we go. Now I could just the Colby Grave, the Dark Magician that he has anyway, but I want to showcase this deck to its fullest and how Amazing Dragon is amazing. Anyways, so once he spell summon the Dark Magician, we actually chain with the Amazing Dragon, or sync off to the Amazing Dragon. And since Dark Magician is on the field, there we go. We use the effect of Amazing Dragon, bounce the 2, and then we chain block it with the Extreme Session. But he chained with the effect of Super Poly. So like I said earlier, if the Jam Drive Dragon is in the graveyard and he chained with a Punk card, that the Punk Jam Dragon will be special summoned to the field. See? Look at that. There we go. And more resources by far. Since it's summoned to the field, we get a copy of Sharkusai once more. And with the effect of Extreme Session, we got another draw. So that's basically it. He scoped into that. He doesn't have anything. And we still have a Colby Grave. And that's it for today, guys. Those are the replays, and that is the deck profile. If you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe for more contents like this in the near future. Hopefully, we'll tackle sprites and Exorcisters in the near future. Anyways, that's me signing off. Keep safe, good luck once more, and have a good night. Bye-bye.